Chapter 8. Date night. Jane, are you okay?
You have been in an awfully good mood since returning from work.
That is unlike you. A girl on a bed called out to her, but Jane showed her what she had gotten that day. WHAT, you cannot afford that. The lady barked at Jane, but Jane simply chuckled.
I know. There was this guy, Jane said. She had a smile on her face turning red as she recalled the encounter.
Why bought you Ella of that?
You know he will expect you to put out, right? Her roommate said, rolling her eyes.
Don't be such a pervert, Ella. He has no such intention. IWA's the one that even gave him my number, Jane pointed out, but Ella was shocked by this revelation. You made the first move?
Ella questioned with a raised brow. Unlike Jane, Ella had the typical appearance of a goth with red hair with a black choker and her neck. Ella had grey eyes and was by every means a beautiful lady with quite the bust hat almost ripped her singlet apart. It was unusual for Jane to make the first move as she was a shy person, so this took her by surprise.
I know. I feel so awkward thinking about it. I don't even think he will come, Jane said, but the excitement in her voice faded as she concluded this sentence.
If he got you all of that, he will definitely call, but I'm curious to see what kind of man can make little Jane make the first move, Ella teased, trying to cheer up her friend.
Ella was not only taller than Jane, but older by a year. She was the one covering the majority of the rent, with Jane helping around with other bills that she could handle. Ella didn't mind this because she knew that Jane's contribution wasn't steeply her financial prowess, but her presence. Jane was a pleasant person to be around, and this was a great addition to Ella's life. You cannot meet him. You will hypnotize him with that chest of yours, Jane barked, prompting Ella to giggle. You know, not every man likes them this big. Yours are just fine, Ella responded, but she couldn't help but worry that this man would break her friend's heart. There was no reason for him to buy her all of this, but then again, he didn't attempt to even get her number, which certainly was interesting.
Ella was the lead singer for an upcoming rock band called Splinters, and she had a gig later that night.
Ella was a woman who truly believed she had what it took to be among the greats, even though her number said otherwise. Oh,
my God, Jane screamed, dropping her phone, but thanks to Ella's position, she was able to snatch it out of the air before it hit the ground.
She was yet to make the transition to her new phone, but Ella noticed that the number wasn't saved. Without hesitation, she picked up the phone on behalf of Jane. Hello, a voice said behind the phone, but before Ella could respond, Jana snatched the phone out of her hand before running to a different compartment of the house. Such a drama queen, Ella said with a smile as she watched her friend close. 111110111. Jane managed to get away from her roommate. She had no idea what to say as she went black. Is everything all right? Carl asked her, and Jane could feel her heart pound like it was about to rip out of her chest. I am fine. I didn't know you would call so soon, Jane said, her voice almost hushed. It was hard not to. What can I say? I am a sucker for girls that know what they want, Carl responded, and this sent Jane's mind into a frenzy. She couldn't even give a verbal response, but Carl found this refreshing. I was thinking, maybe you and I could get something to eat tonight, Kyle proposed, and this brought the biggest smile on her face. I would love that, Kyle, Jane said before clasping her mouth shut once she realized that Kyle never told her his name. She got it by asking the person who had swiped his card. It showed his name on to pop up. Hey, you know my name, Kyle said, and Jane could feel the second-hand embarrassment creeping up on her. Little Miss Stalker, Kyle teased her, and Jane couldn't contain her giggle. Text me your address and get ready by 7. Kyle instructed, to which Jane complied as the conversation came to an end. Damn, he really has done a number on you, Ellis said behind the day. Go away, Jane barked, but this was a byproduct of her embarrassed state. None of this mattered right now. She had a date to prepare for. Carl was done with the phone call, and there was a sense of relief that came with it. He didn't know women could act this way around him. It wasn't something he was used to, but it also wasn't something he disliked. Carl knew at that moment that he needed to go shopping. He didn't have any clothes worthy of a date, but he also had no idea what would be appropriate to wear or even the restaurant they would go to. Carl knew it had to be expensive. It had to be very expensive, so he could spend as much money on her as he could. A sign screen soon appeared as usual, but Kyle wondered what this could be about. Update in affection bar. Jane's affection. 15. Kyle was surprised it went up at all because all they did was have a little conversation over the phone. It couldn't that easy, could it? Either way, this worked to his advantage and he planned to milk the heck out of it as he headed to a store to get some clothes for his date with Jane.